What's up, Facebook? I feel you, man. I'm on it too, man. Cause this semester just ended, and I'm gonna take advantage of this time I got. What's up, man? I got some good points tonight. Make sure y'all like the video, share the video, please. What's going on, Felicia? What's going on, Jay? Brittany, Ashton, what's up, man? We're gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Dominique Bond. I am the founder and CEO of Ace Ambition, which is a youth platform teaching young men how to create opportunities and how to monetize their ideas. And basically, what I do is I basically provide workshops and programs that focus around entrepreneurship and finances. And the great thing is we have a lot of professionals and experts that take time out to teach them about these strategies and so forth. And I'm all about teaching them, having them learn these things very early. And on my side, I'm all about giving them these life strategies and helping them develop goals and understand how to pursue these goals and so forth and so forth. But this time of the year is very interesting because it's a time that we really take time out to reflect on what we accomplished this year and how far we came, some of the challenges that we had, the trials that we went through, some of the things that we accomplished and didn't accomplish. And for some of us, we look at the year and we say, you know what, I had a pretty good year. And then some of us will say, you know what, this year was pretty average. It was okay. You know, I did a few things here and there. And some of us may say, you know what, this year was not a great year at all. You know, a lot of the things that I set out to do, I did not accomplish. This was not a good year. But I had a conversation with one of my brothers the other day, and we was really taking time out talking about how we have to give ourselves more credit. And that was one of the things I would say mid-year, I was really focusing more on that, really giving myself more credit, you know, working full-time, being a graduate student, having my platform, even, you know, buying a house, getting engaged, all these different things that really take up a lot of your time, a lot of things that take a lot of focus and a lot of concentration and so forth. And we just talked about so many things about really taking time out and give ourselves more credit because, man, when you're striving for these things, some things it may take, you know, it may just take a few days, it may take a few weeks, it may take a few months, but you know that path is just, it can be very strenuous, it can be very time consuming, it can be very stressful and so forth and so forth. And sometimes, man, when we on this road, whatever road that you're on, you know, we just forget to really just take time out and just say, you know what, I need to pat myself on the back. So I'm gonna give a few points because for some of us, it's very difficult to find what it is that we got to give ourselves credit for. And I think that's a big problem, because we feel like we have to, once we accomplish this big thing, the big thing, that's when we have to stop and say, you know what, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I want to say, you know what, I did good, or whatever the case may be. But number one is to just to take time out and reward yourself of the small victories. You know, like Felicia already got to it. She got to it before I got to it. Got to celebrate all victories. You got to celebrate the small victories. Celebrate the small tasks. Celebrate whatever it is. So I have somebody, he's actually on here, and he basically just got his website. That's good. There's some people who are still trying to work on that. There's some people who can't even afford to have a website. But he just developed his own website for his platform. And that's something that you gotta stop and say, you know what? I'm one step closer to whatever it is that I'm reaching for. You know, and it's just those small things that we just gotta we have to really stop and say, you know what, I'm doing good, because this is a road that we're on that's going to take so much. It requires so much endurance, and we have to implement strategies. We have to implement and incorporate strategies to encourage us, to inspire us, to keep us on the right mindset and so forth, so we can just keep on going. Because if you don't stop and just say, you know what, that's one step closer, it's gonna be a whole lot harder for you to keep on going and stay consistent. So number two, we have to accept and allow people to praise us. We have to stop. We have to allow people to praise us. I remember there was a time when people would just say, you know what, you're doing good, you know what, you're doing great. And I'd say, you know what, yeah, but I can do a little better, you know. Yeah, but that wasn't really nothing, you know. What I just did was I didn't even take time out to acknowledge that this person just gave me a compliment. You know, it's a lot of people who don't even take time out to compliment you. So for anyone to really take time out and to praise you, to give a compliment to you, accept that. Accept it. You know what I'm saying? There's some people, you know, that one compliment, that one whatever it is that they just say to you, that compliment, that can just be a highlight in their day. Why can't that be a highlight in your day? For someone to take time out and inbox you saying, you know what, you're doing good work. For someone to text you and call you and say, you know what, you're doing good, you're doing great work, whatever the case may be. Accept that, acknowledge it, and hold on to that, because that's something that's gonna keep you going. Sometimes that's all I need. I can be very frustrated, and for someone to just to take time out and just say, you know what, I see what you're doing great work. You know, that makes me feel better, and that's gonna keep me going. Number three is to reflect on how far you came. What's up, Bernard? What's up, BJ? Reflect how far you came. Some of us, when we get to a certain point, we forget how much we actually accomplished. We forget how far we actually came. We forget how, you know, we used to be broke. We forget we used to not have anything. We forget that, you know, all these people around us said we wasn't going to do this, wasn't going to do that, and you're doing it. And now we're so focused on, I got to get to the next level, I got to get to the next level, I got to get to the next level. And when you always thinking about that and not taking time out to say, you know what, I'm doing good, I'm one step closer, and you don't reflect on that, it's going to be hard, and you're gonna be so caught up with just forgetting how much you actually did accomplish, because you're just so focused on, I got to get to the next level, I got to get to the next level. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, that's an excellent focus, that you want to get higher, you want to keep going. But sometimes take time out to reflect on how far you actually did come. All right, number 5 is to give yourself credit that you actually help people. You get what I'm saying? So there's some of us, you probably haven't really accomplished whatever you set out to do, but you actually been helping people. There's a number of people that you actually helped, whether you donated to somebody, That's excellent. A lot of people don't even want to donate their money. The fact that you actually volunteered at somebody's event, the fact that you actually help somebody with their vision, with their goal, that's something that you have to take time out and say, you know what, I'd help somebody else reach their goal. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just about us. Sometimes we can be a little selfish when it comes down to credit. You know, we just feel like we have to give ourselves credit for something that we accomplished within ourselves or whatever the case may be. But we don't take time out to give credit that we actually help other people. You know what I'm saying? So there's a time where I was doing all these workshops for the kids, and I was so caught up with the results that I wanted to see, but I was forgetting that, you know what, I was helping some child who probably didn't think they can do anything in life. I was helping some child who probably wasn't even thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, and now he's going home telling his mother that, you know what, I want to start my own business. But I was so caught up with me, with being selfish, with the results that I wanted to see, and not focused on how I was helping that child out. So take time out and think about the people that you actually helped out, the people that the events in the organization that you volunteered in, that you helped, the people that you probably donated to, whatever the case may be. The next point is acknowledge the mistakes and lessons that you have learned. All right, the mistakes and lessons that you have learned. So the fact that you learned a lesson because you made a mistake, give yourself credit for that. Give yourself credit for that. You learned something. Yes, you made a mistake, but that was a lesson. That was a lesson learned. And I actually have a workshop coming up, and one of my brothers is going to be teaching about handling failure. And I think that's a very important thing for the young guys to understand, because I want them to shift that mindset and not just thinking of the fact that, yeah, you know, I messed up, but the fact that, okay, I messed up. Now let me analyze how or why did I mess up. Okay, I did such and such. I did X, Y, and Z wrong. But now if I do A, B, and C, then I may have a different result. So acknowledge the mistakes and the lessons you have learned in your journey. You probably didn't accomplish your goals, but you probably learned a whole lot of lessons, whether it was at the job place, whether it was a conflict that you had with someone else. That conflict that you had with someone else, if you think about the lessons that you learned, that's gonna prepare you and equip you for the future. So yeah, during that time, you probably feel like you didn't accomplish anything, but that lesson that you learned is gonna equip you for something else. The next thing is acknowledge the new things that you actually tried this year. I don't care if it was some food or a new restaurant that you went to, a new vacation spot that you went to, just meeting new people, going to events that you never tried going to, whatever the case may be. Acknowledge the new things that you have learned. Those of you that just tuning in, we're just talking about ways to give yourself more credit, because we can quickly forget how we can give ourselves credit on our journey, whatever the journey that we're on. It's the small things that we can give ourselves credit for. It's the big thing that we can give ourselves credit for. But it's different things that we normally don't think about that we can give ourselves credit for. So for those of you that are just tuning in, that's what we're talking about. And towards the end, I'm going to go through everything real quick, and then we're going to end it off. So once again, acknowledge the new things that you have tried this year. That's huge, because for some of us, it takes a lot to try new things. The last thing is acknowledge that you have not quit yet. Acknowledge that you are still going. Despite all the challenges, the conflicts, the mistakes that you have made, you are still going. I don't care if you have slowed down. I don't care if you're going full speed. I don't care whatever pace, you're still going. And you'll be surprised that a lot of things that you have gone through if other folks have gone through that, they probably wouldn't have lasted. They probably wouldn't have lasted. So give yourself some credit that you are still going. Whatever it is that you're striving for, big or small, give yourself credit for that. And that's my last point. And I'm going to go through my 8 points one more time real quick. Number one, reward yourself and acknowledge the small victories, all victories. Reward yourself in all victories. Number two, accept and allow other people to praise you. Accept and allow people to praise you. Number three, reflect on how far you actually came. Number four, give yourself, matter of fact, I missed one point, one good point. I don't know how I missed this, but number four was actually acknowledge and think about all the toxic people that you deleted out of your life. That's huge. That is huge. Acknowledge all the people that are toxic that you eliminated out of your life. The next thing is give yourself credit of the number of people or organizations, events that you helped, that you donated to, that you assisted. Acknowledge everybody that you actually helped. The next point is acknowledge all the mistakes and lessons that you have learned this year. The next point is acknowledge all the new things that you actually tried. And the last point is acknowledge and give yourself credit that you are still going, you are still pursuing. And that is huge because there are a lot of people who have quit. They have already thrown in the towel. And even though you have gone through all these challenges, these conflicts and so forth, you are still going. Man, this is Dominique Bond. I really want everyone to really incorporate these things because even though this year have went by, for some of us, this was a long year. This was a very long year, but we have to reward ourselves. We have to acknowledge all the things, all the small things that we have accomplished. We have to give ourselves more credit because we have to encourage and motivate ourselves when other people cannot or will not motivate us or encourage us. So I hope that these things really help somebody and leave some feedback. You know, whatever it is that you thought was a great point that you're gonna really work on. Let me know. Give me some feedback. That always helps me. And I always appreciate y'all for tuning in. But one of my favorite shows is about to come on, so I'm about to log out. Walking Dead. I got to get to that. That's one of my favorite shows. So I see y'all later.